Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for watching. Tonight, we'll tell you about an ambush at the salt mine. Plus, a look at the push to bring in even more jobs to the area. Officials are working to get more spin-offs from the electric vehicle battery plant. Windsor homeowners are going head-to-head with their contractor. They're suing for $800,000 in damages. And a new housing report has some grim predictions for the year ahead, but a local real estate broker sees things in a different light. Let's start with the incident at Windsor Salt. Police are confirming that an employee was attacked overnight inside of the mine. The company says the employee was brutally ambushed by people with baseball bats. Windsor Salt said that 3 masked people broke into the mine and repeatedly hit the employee. In a statement, the company says the victim's injuries are not life-threatening and that they will make a full recovery. More than 250 employees have been on strike since February. Windsor Salt now saying that it is suspending negotiations because of the assault. Unifor Locals 240 and 1959 represent about 250 Windsor Salt employees who have been on strike since February 17th. Unifor's national office said it's aware of the incident, stating that union workers have maintained a peaceful picket line at the facility and that they condemn any form of violence. Officials said they were disappointed Windsor Salt suspended talks and called on the company to return to the bargaining table. The company declined an interview request. In its statement, Windsor Salt alleged that there have been, quote, repeated mischaracterizations by the union and others about the labor talks. A local union representative says workers went on strike in response to de-unionizing actions by the mine's owner, saying management has wanted to contract out the jobs for everyone since 2021. The company's statement said it has never been their goal to get rid of union jobs and that they have been bargaining in good faith since the workers first walked off the job. Windsor is hoping to land some massive new businesses that could bring hundreds of jobs to the area, and it's all connected to the battery plant.
I'm happy to report that our investment pipeline right now, the value of the investments, it's over $2.5 billion, which is just incredible. Now, of course, we're not going to get all of those, but we are very close on a number of projects related to the battery supply chain. So very exciting time, very busy time.
Right now, those companies are primarily related to the electric vehicle sector, specifically to work with battery plants. That's because of the plant coming to Windsor, but also new plants opening in Ohio and Michigan. This is a supply plant being built in Windsor right now. The new leads are manufacturing-based, but could spin off into other industries. These are all leads that Invest Windsor Essex feels confident about, but it doesn't mean that they'll all come to Windsor. They're talking to more than 30 different companies. If somehow all these projects landed, Windsor could see another 2,000 jobs. They did say that 3 of these projects should be finalized in the next few months. A home renovation nightmare to tell you about tonight. A Windsor couple is suing a contractor after rainwater damaged their Forest Glade home during a reno project last year. Dale Molnar now with details.
We've probably spent over $260,000 so far. The original project was supposed to be $160,000 for rough-in.
This is what Karen and Daryl Dagenet's kitchen looked like before the water damage, and this is what it looks like today. They say a contractor that was putting up 2 new levels onto the house in March of last year removed the existing roof and covered it with tarps. But they say when it rained, the water damaged the house so badly they had to tear everything out.
The roof was off our house, pretty much the whole roof, and the rain started coming in. It was basically like Niagara Falls in our home. The roof was tarped, however, it was tarped with Holy tarps, so it didn't do its job.
Karen says the contractor just used tarps from the backyard. The 2nd and 3rd level additions are now complete, but because insurance won't cover the costs, the Dagenets can't pay to finish the job. Now the house is left without a finished interior. There are only a couple of outlets for the appliances, and she says there's no insulation, so it can only be heated to around 16 degrees. Karen, who is now estranged from her husband, has been living in the house off and on for about a year, steadily since February.
We have been going back and forth between our sons and here when the weather was not working here. We had no heat until November, so up until then we used electric blankets.
The couple is suing the contractor, Daher Developments, for $800,000 in damages. The statement of claim reads in part, "The roof tarps used by Daher to protect the plaintiff's home were in poor condition and had holes in them and were not properly affixed to the roof." The claims haven't been tested in court. But Ted Daher, the president of Daher Developments, tells CBC News the tarps were put up properly, and he says the homeowners were warned to remove anything of value from the house. He says his insurance company has agreed to handle the claim.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Frank Deas of Deas Roofing says in jobs like this, contractors usually complete the upper floors before tearing off the existing roof.
I guess the biggest issue I see after reviewing the project is just how much the contractor tried to take on in one day. With that style of home, it was such a large roof area and also a low-pitched roof. So to cover such a large space with just a tarp would certainly bear some risks.
There's no lighting.
For now, Karen is stuck in limbo until the insurance comes through to finish the work on the house. No statement of defense has yet been filed in court. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
A new housing market report is out from the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Now, while there are predictions of a market rebound for 2024 and 2025, for this year, the outlook is pretty dark. For Windsor specifically, the report says housing prices and sales are going down this year, high interest rates playing a big part in that. On top of that, construction for new homes is going to happen slowly because of worker shortages. All that impacting the rental market as well. Our apartment vacancy rate was 1.8% last year. This year, it's expected to go down to 1%, bringing rental prices up. For more on what's happening on the ground here in Windsor, I'm joined live by broker of record Maggie Chen. She's also the president-elect for the Local Realtors Association. Maggie, thanks so much for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Maggie, what is your reaction to this report?
Honestly, I was surprised, especially when I read it. It says beyond 2023, housing demand will grow as borrowing costs stabilize. I think the rebounding is here already. The lowest point is last December. Like our average sale price went down under 500,000. But since January all the way till now, we don't have the stats for April as of yet, but up to March 31st, our average sale price went all the way up to 568,000. So compared to January's average price of 516,000, the average price went up 10%. So from what we could see right now, the rebounding is already here, not beyond 2023. So that's what kind of surprised me a bit when I read this report.
Can you tell me more about that rebound? So you're saying that prices are already on or going up. What about sales? What about bidding wars? What are you seeing where that's concerned?
The bidding wars are coming back. Multiple offers, bidding wars are coming back. However, most of the time, the bidding wars and multiple offer situation happening within a certain price point. When the asking price is $399,900, let's say under 400,000, we received over 10 offers. Just for an example, yesterday evening, there is an East End townhouse with asking price of $399,900. There are 16 offers altogether, and the final sale price is $591,000. Imagine from asking price of $399,900 to the final sale price of $591,000 is almost $200,000, almost, from the asking price. So what is the most active market segment is hovering around the average sale price, which is around between $550,000 all the way up to $650,000. So that is the most active market segment right now in Windsor.
Maggie, I want to shift to vacancy rates because the report says that low vacancy rates are about to get lower, high rental prices are about to get higher. So what do you anticipate where that's concerned?
For the apartment building versus, because we have all kinds of different rental in the market, right? So we have the 2-bedroom apartment units, let's say average 2-bedroom, $1,300, $1,250, but we have a lot more inventory in the market, brand new, new construction 2-bedroom condo units, average rental price is between $2,000 to $2,500, or single family homes. So it depends on what type of products we're looking at. So as for the 2-bedroom apartment units, yes, I agree with the report. Yes, the rent seems to be going up because of the lower price point. However, due to the LTV cap, you cannot increase that much. If you live in an apartment building, you can only go up, let's say this year for 2023, you can only go up 2.5% of your current rent. You cannot go over more than what is the cap is. So there is limitation right there. As for the newer 2-bedroom condo units, the average rental price between $2,000 to $2,500. I do not see that going up at all. Actually, I see the declining of the rent because there's a huge inventory right now in the market, and the affordability is an issue for tenants.
Okay, thank you so much for your perspective, Maggie. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Maggie Chen is the president-elect for the Windsor-Essex County Association of Realtors. No negotiation breakthroughs just yet when it comes to the Public Service Alliance of Canada strike. And strikers' tactics today went beyond the usual picket line locations. Hundreds came to Pearson International Airport. Officials there reported only minor disruptions. A U.S. border crossing in Quebec saw a union march. Again, no serious traffic blockages were reported, and strikers paid a visit to Federal Minister François-Philippe Champagne's office in Shawinigan. Champagne spoke with some of them. Wages and remote work remain the central points of contention. Premier Doug Ford announcing changes to the bail system today. It includes funding for police for bail compliance teams. Alicia Son has the story.
Our members have stopped referring to the court and prison system as a revolving door. For them and for the communities they serve, it no longer feels like the door is revolving, but instead that it is simply wide open.
The room was packed with police and media at 42 Division to hear about the Ford government's plan to beef up bail compliance.
We can't have a justice system that fails to protect innocent people, a justice system where bad guys are allowed to run free, a justice system that has an open door policy where violent criminals are arrested one day and let back out on the streets the next day.
While the very next day may be an exaggeration, there are high-profile cases where a person on bail reoffends with escalating violence. Slain OPP officer Greg Pirshawa was checking on a vehicle in a ditch near Hagersville in December when he was shot and killed. The alleged killer was on bail for an assault charge a year prior.
From the perspective of being a police officer, it's very demoralizing. It's disheartening. We arrest someone and then they're released on bail and not following their conditions, and a member is injured. It feels that it's not for anything.
It has to stop, and we'll make sure it stops.
Today, the Premier announced $112 million in new funding. $24 million will be spent over the next 3 years for police services to establish bail compliance teams. The OPP gets $48 million to create their own that focuses on high-risk offenders at large. And $26 million goes towards creating bail teams within the court system. The rest could be spent on technology that monitors offender compliance and to create a framework to share that information across jurisdictions.
We can't keep using jail as a stopgap measure for our own social failings.
University of Windsor law professor Donardo Jones says it's not the justice system that needs more funding, but addiction and mental health services, noting some repeat offenders aren't always capable of complying.
These programs are chronically underfunded or non-existent. Well, what are we doing? We're setting these people up for failure.
Today wasn't about addressing root causes, but law and order to the tune of tens of millions of dollars for
more boots on the ground. And we're making sure the most dangerous criminals are locked up behind bars.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's take a live look outside there. Sunshine today. I hope you're able to get outside because unfortunately a long stretch of gray is coming. Delia Ashry will have more for us right after the break. Stay with us. We had a beautiful sunset last night with something special coming across the Detroit River as it happened. This here is the SS Keewatin, and it was being tugged along the water toward a new home. Now that ship had its maiden voyage in 1907. Yes, that is indeed a century-old ship, and it's the same type of ship as the Titanic, but even older. And some folks along the waterfront were able to watch it move under the almost century-old Ambassador Bridge. The ship was once located just north of Barrie, and it's being moved to a new home in Kingston. Delia Ashry joins us now for a look at local weather. Delia, so nice to see the sun shining today, but I'm really worried about the days ahead and the lack of sun in the forecast.
I know, and you know, southwestern Ontario, you folks also had that frost advisory just the other day, but I really hope that most people got the chance to enjoy it today. You know, that high pressure system giving us those clear skies and that sunshine, as you saw that beautiful sunset from yesterday. All I wanted to say was rose, rose. But anyways, all I'm going to say actually now is rain, rain, because that is on its minutes away. It's a dry night for tonight. Umbrella, you'll need it for tomorrow and for the next few days, especially as we head into the weekend, and it's going to be a windy one as well. It is currently 14 degrees in Windsor, still beautiful conditions as you can see across the board here, and we're going to be seeing that just for today. Tomorrow, the temperatures will still be around the same mark, but it's that rain that's going to kick in. I mean, we're sitting just a little bit below seasonal high, which is usually 16 degrees. Today is 14 degrees for that daytime high, so we're sitting where we're supposed to be, really. Now, what to expect over the next few days? Like I said, tomorrow you're going to have a little bit of those cloud coverage starting to peek through into southwestern Ontario, but then really at around 8 a.m., so on your commute to work, you might start feeling a little bit of those scattered showers, so you'll need your umbrella. And then throughout the day, look at that, darker and darker and darker. What does that mean? It means continuous rain, a stretch of gloomy gray conditions over the weekend. So if you had any plans outdoors, you might want to move them indoors for the weekend. And then Saturday at around 1 o'clock, it's mostly going to be cloudy. That rain starts to move out into northwestern part of the province. And then it's also going to be quite windy. So winds will be gusting up to 41 kilometers an hour. And we're also going to see it move just about 54 kilometers an hour. So really, the winds are really going to pick up over the weekend. And we could be seeing it going up to 40 kilometers an hour as well. Now, what to expect for tonight? Temperatures will drop a little bit, but still a clear night, which is what we like to see. Some cloud coverage in Windsor, 6 degrees, Leamington, 6 degrees. Over the next few days, let's take a look here. Like I said, it's a gloomy stretch ahead, a windy one as well. So keep your umbrella with you and a raincoat. Katarina?
That is not a good looking forecast, Dahlia, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault, but thank you for telling us.
Mother Nature just turned the tap back on us.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Katarina.
When we come back, more from our Halfway to Home series. Stay with us. Our Halfway to Home series continues, and tonight a look at building a career. A big part of that can be about making connections, but how do you do that when you're struggling to start from scratch in a new country?
So I had to strategically decide that I had to do the uncomfortable. I had to start going to events, but not just that. I had to make myself stand out. So something I didn't mention to you last time, something that makes me cringe right now is ascots. I don't know if anyone knows the ascot
Yes.
tie. I started wearing ascots.
Oh man.
Yes.
That's a choice.
I started wearing ascots, and it was one of those. It was a conversation opener. You go to an event, you're the only guy there with an ascot. People remember the guy with an ascot, right? So I started making ascots. But even more interesting, I couldn't afford ascots. So Fabric Land became my friend. That was something that I started doing. So
You started designing ascots.
I just went, picked up material, cut it up, and made an ascot for myself. So that's something, at that time I enjoyed it because I met a lot of people. Because I'm the guy with an ascot, and it was always, who is this guy with an ascot, right? And that's, I met people, I met a lot of people that way.
That's genius. It's a wearable conversational starter.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
Yeah. So I still have a few now.
I was just about to ask.
Every now and then I bring it out, but it was something that I did, and again, just purposefully, I decided to do the uncomfortable, to make myself be remembered, to make myself stand out.
I have to start from zero, and I have to start I have this institution, I am at West, I have to start moving the steps forward and ask questions to all the counselors, if I could. Where to go? Job fair here. Okay, come here to the institution, do mock interviews. Once I was ready, and then keep applying for jobs. The financial crash of the crisis happened back in 2007, 2008, but I was like, okay, even if an agency employ me, I'm good. So send my resumes to agencies, even if it was basic bookkeeping jobs or admin jobs, send my resume directly to the companies. Like I start sending a lot of resumes, and to the point that finally I start getting phone calls from the agency. But the agency was placing me at University of Windsor, where I could be able to have a good resume. So, okay, so I could name in my resume and a good reference. So things start like getting a bit better. Things start opening up. And that was my optimism came back.
You can read more on the series on our website. And as the stories are shared throughout the week, they're all leading up to a big event this Saturday. It's called Creating Space at Budimir Library from 2 to 4, a way to bring the community together and celebrate diversity. I'll be there with some of my colleagues, and we look forward to meeting you. We'll have swag, guest speakers, and a number of resources for newcomers as well. Now, in terms of RSVPs, we have reached full capacity, but we'd still love for you to swing by. Drop in space will likely be available. Controversial American talk show host Jerry Springer has died. In a statement, his family says he passed away peacefully at his home in Chicago. Springer was born in the UK and grew up in the United States. He worked as a lawyer, journalist, actor, and was even the mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio in the late 70s. He's best known for his syndicated shock TV-style talk show, which was often raucous and wild. The Jerry Springer Show had a 27-year run. Springer was diagnosed with cancer a few months ago. He was 79 years old. And we want to end tonight with a bit of joy. Dog owners are familiar with getting affectionately pawed and their faces licked, but other animals can play that game too. A young panda in China used the same attention-seeking ploy on zoo staff. And since a video camera was at the ready, Jiran, the panda, got online attention as well. A media platform devoted to pandas, yes, there is one. It provides round-the-clock antics. And it has also created a fan base for the 10-month-old. That is it for CBC Windsor News. For more, you can always go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor, and we're on social media as well. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.